Hello everybody and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. Me and two of my players are going to be doing a bit of a first recording of a podcast that we're going to be doing. It's basically just going to be talking about D&D and kind of how we run games and lore about our worlds and stuff. And just DMing philosophies and other things like that. Joining me today will be a petite Fae, Poppy, and Void. My wonderful friends. Thank you all for being here, and we're gonna get right to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and.
Hi,
guys.
Might realize.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have undeafened, and I am recording.
You are recording?
I
Wow.
am indeed recording.
Wild.
Yeah, wow. We're all here recording like
Hello.
cool
It's like-
old people.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's like we're gathered here to talk about
Stuff. Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I did my little intro
Like
bit, and
TTRPGs.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Fucking wonderful.
No, I have no intro bit on mine.
I am in the midst of
Scuff.
building one.
I'm just gonna let it go.
Mm-hmm. With mine, I do just a little tiny intro where it's just me, my chibi PNG on a stage.
Yeah.
But it's always off the cuff. It's never the same thing twice.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I fuck scripting anything.
Yeah, exactly. When we actually do a real podcast thing that we were talking about in DMs, some of it should be script as talking points.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
we don't go off the cuff.
Oh, 100%. I've done podcasts before that are just off the cuff, and it always devolves into like tangents.
Yeah.
That and getting
We just
me.
need like little bullet points.
Yep. That and getting me and Cell in a call at the same time is gonna be just Tangent City, so you're gonna have to keep us on track.
Listen, I'm more than willing to
I'll
come
do my
in.
little ahem.
Yep.
Ahem.
Listen.
Hello.
Hello. It's time.
Hello.
Talk. We're gonna talk about some things.
No,
That's the hey, get back on track.
Yeah.
That is exactly what that is.
that's little Abby going ahem.
That's what she does when we go to start.
Soapbox.
That's what she does when we have to start Curse of Strahd, and we're all being giggly.
I love that.
Oh yeah. Usually when so what I anticipate with like Through the Looking Glass when we run it is 30 minutes is for goof and gaggles. I will ask for a recap during those goof and gaggles, and then I'll go ahem. I would like to start the session. Are we all ready? And then I hear a chorus of yeah.
Yeah.
The opening schmidt.
It's fucking wonderful. Speaking of like Through the Looking Glass and Curse of Strahd, one day for my channel, I need to get you to DM Curse of Strahd. Like I want you to run Curse of Strahd for my YouTube channel one day.
So I talked to Frozen about this
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking about D&D characters the other day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Sage wants to do it, or Sal wants to do it, or I want to do it first, but one of us wants to run Curse of Strahd for a performance check.
Fuck yes. I really want to play in that
My
game.
stipulation, so my stipulation is I want players to have never played Curse of Strahd before. So, like, it would be you, Ven, and Frozen, like,
Well,
the first
so I don't
three,
know
and
if
then
I
just have to
count
find-
because I've never played the 5e Curse of Strahd, but I've played literally every other Ravenloft module.
No,
I mean-
don't worry. We kind of futz it around.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, it gets changed so much that half the time you can identify it as Strahd unless you squinted really hard.
Yeah. My thing is that the what I want to play in a Curse of Strahd game is someone who has changed Barovia so much, but I want to play Belle in Curse of Strahd because that's where she was originated, was the Ravenloft campaign. Well, first it was the actual module for Eye of the Beholder, and then Ravenloft.
Okay.
So like by the time she got to Ravenloft, she was level 3. Like, so she
Okay.
wasn't she wasn't super strong, but going back to Ravenloft, like as a place for Belle, and it being so different, where she's like, wait, this was, oh god, not here again, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a fucking hilarious characterization.
Because like I always start at level 3, and it's like what I was explaining to Frozen. It's like I want new people who like vaguely know the module or have never actually played the module. Because both Ven and Frozen kind of vaguely know what's going on. Like Strahd's the main guy. It's like a MacGuffin kind of ordeal. Collect the items to defeat the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
That's the basic shit.
Or
of what they
side
do.
with the Dark Lord, help him get Irina back.
Yeah. And like I prefaced when I was talking to Frozen that if I run a Fairy Tale Curse of Strahd game, it's unfortunately you guys won't be canon to Sylvestris.
That's
because the one I run on Saturday is going to be canon. And what I was explaining to Frozen and what I said on the session 0 is like, because we're breaking it into seasons, there is a strong likelihood that I will finish the Curse of Strahd campaign before we get to like the third of Sylvestris or like the second arc, like in the middle of the second arc. And at that point, you guys have to deal with the consequences of Barovia just apparating back into Sylvestris.
Yeah, that's
middle
gonna
of
be
like
dope.
the dire plot.
So I have a question actually pertaining to that.
Yeah.
So we had talked in DMs about me running a one-shot that is around that area. Would my one-shot be canon?
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun little little thing. It might not be.
So, yeah,
it might be like a 5-shot because I can't tell that story in one session, but you know me, I'm
like a
too
mini
wordy.
series, yeah.
Yeah, I'm too wordy to do one. I've only ever successfully done a one-shot one time, and it was on accident.
I know, we always have to do like 2 shots because like you can never tell a story with a bunch of bozos with ADHD in like 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. If I had like 7 hours to play one game of D&D, I might be able to do it, but like nah, it's not possible.
For your knowledge, just because I haven't brought it up with you because we were just talking about DMs. There on the Sylvestris map, there is a keep in between Ulrich and the Sherwood Forest called the Lone Keep, and Belle wants to use that keep for a one-shot.
Yeah, I want to run. I want to run the OG basic D&D module. Keep on the Borderlands from it.
Can I have that map of the world?
Yes. Map the world, maps and locations. I cleverly named it.
I'm really proud. I'm really proud of the world that we've like put together. It's really nice.
I am so I looked at it one time and went, holy shit! I want to run games in this world.
Yeah.
Like
we have an entire political map. That's just what is where and who has what.
I fucking love that. So I have a question. Do you guys have a person that runs the Lone Keep, or do I get to decide that? Are you putting that small political power in my grubby little hands?
So technically, if I remember the political map, I don't have it on. I probably do have it on my computer actually. I'll have to open up Clip Paint. I believe that is under the White Queen's power.
Yeah.
Like, the land is split into 3 different political powers. So it's the White Queen, the Red Queen, and the neutral territory, which the Autumn Queen in the Enchanted Forest ensures you guys don't fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's fair and square.
So my question is how does the political structure of the White Queen's court work? Because I was thinking like a small baron of some sort, or like an alderman to run the keep, because it's like Lone Keeps like that. Fortresses essentially are run by like or a knight of some kind could run it. I totally wasn't just going to use the Green Knight at all. That's not at all what I was planning.
Yeah. It is like barons, yeah.
Okay,
So there
cool.
is like a baron or a burgomaster that all go to the White Queen for like, you know, the higher political gain. Like, hey, I need some of this and this from this territory. Can you provide us like food, rations,
Yeah.
military if need be? The White Queen, I don't know the actual terms because government is stupid to me.
Yep.
I don't grasp it. But the White Queen's king or part of the territory is the church. The church.
Oh, so it's a theocracy.
Yeah, and then the Red Queen runs it like a military.
Okay, so that's an oligarchy. Okay.
Yeah, and that's how they kind of like run their territory, and then the Autumn Queen is just complete neutrality, and it's just like don't fuck things up.
Yeah. So a suggestion, because a lot of theocracies work on the feudal system. For smaller territories like the Lone Keep, knights used to just have those. Like a knight would run it. Like they wouldn't even have like an alderman or a burgomaster. It would just be one lone knight. This is their keep. Because a lot of the time that's how old retired adventurers were rewarded. And I think it would be really cool to have like an old cavalier that runs this very, because the way the keep is like the rules of the keep are structured essentially is like when inside the keep, weapons are sheathed, shields remain on your back, arrows are in the quivers, spells are not allowed to be cast within the keep unless they're healing spells, etc., etc. Like, I like the idea of this guy is tired of the bullshit because they've been through all of it, and he just wants a quiet, retired life where he can let adventurers live in his little fort. And instead of having to bug the queen for military assistance, just, hey, if you guys do this, I'll pay you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to find my political map. I don't think it is. It might be on my hard drive, actually.
I think Abby knows, like, cause I know a good bit. I know a little bit about the White Queen. However, I think my brain sort of went and looked at the Red Queen and went, I love a fucked up queen who's like, no, I'm gonna make travel as hard as possible for you. Okay, thanks. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. It sucks, but I love her so much.
So I'm gonna post the a couple of images in No Mic where you guys can kind of see, because the Keep on the Borderlands has some updated, like the module I want to run with the Lone Keep. There are a couple of updated images that are available for like what the fort looks like how it's structured. So I might find a way to update these something similar to these images. I don't want to steal other people's artwork. But the first image is like from the module, which I've bought, so I am going to use that. But the other one is off of Google. But that's kind of what the keep is structured like as far as like for the module, and I'm really excited to run it. I'm really excited to run in your game.
So with that in mind, and looking at the Lone Keep on the map specifically, it looks like at least some part of the keep is going to be put up right up against the mountains, like itself.
Yeah, so like where the Bailey is, the like back Bailey, where the actual Green Knight would be living, because that's who I'm using as the main like the person who owns the key or is in charge of the keep. Where the Green Knight would be living would be built into the mountains, or at least that's kind of how I saw it on the map. If that's okay with you guys. Because you guys are, the ones who ultimately make those decisions. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jess.
I do like that.
There you go. Oh.
I am also planning. I don't know how much Arthurian bullshit you guys have in your world, but I am going to inject a little bit of it because those are the fairy tales I grew up on. Were like the King Arthur myths, the like Irish folklore, English folklore, stuff like that. And I really like that, and like Tales of Robin Hood, which makes me really fucking happy about Sherwood Forest. And
Yeah.
and stuff. So I am very excited for that specifically, and kind of incorporating that
Like,
into. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I have the Lady of the Lake. That was
Yeah.
absolutely something that Celeste suggested that I should add into the setting. Originally, I was going to have either Merlin or
Morgan Le
what's her
Fay.
first name.
Morgan.
Yeah, I was gonna have them in the Curse of Strahd game, because spoilers for Curse of Strahd, there is a mad mage. There's a person who's gone mad.
Yeah.
So I was going to change that and have them be one of those two characters. And then I decided everyone in the game has cracked the code. I did basically Ada Clothwort from the Owl House is my mad mage.
I love
and she
that.
is the Witch of the Mountains.
Can I make a
She
suggestion?
is also the Rock.
Oh,
Yes.
that's fucking awesome. So, you know how you have the gloaming where a magical war happened, right?
Yeah.
What if Merlin
Yes.
is? What if you did have Merlin in your world, but he's dead because he overcast at some point, and massive fucking crystals because he was a massively powerful wizard or druid, because Merlin was originally a druid.
Yeah, he was gonna be. I talked. This was with my my ex was helping me also build this character, and he was gonna be a Cambion, because in
love
lore, that's what he was.
Yeah.
So he was just gonna be like a very like chaotic force. And there was
Yep.
a bunch of TikToks that we saw where, because mad mage over time, like power grows to you, and you just get loopy with power. So he was gonna be very like a joke type of character.
I
for
mean,
the mad mage.
I mean, so that would not break Merlin's lore at all. So one thing that a lot of people don't talk about Merlin specifically as a character is he used to go into Arthur's court disguised as other people, and like everybody knew it was Merlin. Like the knights just were like, just play along. Arthur was a fucking himbo and did not realize it was Merlin ever. But the knights were like, yeah, it's just Merlin. Just let it happen. Oh god, I love that. So him being a jokey character, fucking wonderful.
Do we want lore-wise to have him already be dead?
Or instead of dead,
Interesting.
we could go with a Avatar: The Last Airbender style, where he's just trapped in the crystals.
Okay, so he's like, it could have been before he fully overcasted and killed himself. He probably did. It's a 9th level spell. I think it's imprisonment.
Yeah, that would be in prison.
I already have. There's another thing in this world is also under the spell, and along with sequester. So if like something happens, then the imprisonment will break.
Yeah, because that would also go with the
spell?
lore of Merlin, because he is sleeping until he is needed for England again, as part of his thing.
And I explained because Frozen also asked questions about the gloaming, and I was like, yeah, that is a complete dead zone of magic up until you you flick a crystal of one of the many dead soldiers who just overcasted during the war. And then it's just wild magic surge after wild magic surge. So if you break it, It's very bad news bears.
Imagine someone
And we
standing from a distance and just throwing a rock.
Yeah, and then it's just like, you just watch a bunch of like trees turn into like small potted plants for a couple minutes, and they go back to normal. It's very fun for like, the kids who live in the city. I think it's Fona that's right next to it, who probably don't have a lot of magical powers. These are going to be like your basic rogues and your fighters, or like the classes that have very minute spellcasting blood hunters, beast hearts. If we ever do the Dragon Rider thing and we finish writing that, they would probably be there. And then they leave the Gloaming Center, and then they just get hit with a wave of, like, magic.
Right?
And they're probably very more attuned to magic, like knowing, like, oh, this is a little spicy magic that we are walking into. Something's a little fucked up here.
Well, fuck you up.
Just a little bit. Just a little fucky.
Little fucky lucky.
Imagine growing up in Fona and you're like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of just crystals on the ground. You can hit them with rocks for fun. You can try.
You can certainly try. That is my favorite saying ever to say to any like players. You can certainly try.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a DM,
I think it would probably yeah.
I like scaring my players that way.
Oh, what is it? What is the thing that I do? Oh, I tell them to, like, do you want to open this sexy door that is over here? And then they all go, like, what makes the door sexy? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should open it and see.
Right?
That's the way. Because if Abby's like, I really want them to go in here, Abby just has to go, it's kind of sexy, to be honest. You should check it out.
Yeah, it's... Abby, I'm excited to play in your game because it's gonna be very fun. For you DMing for me, that's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah.
And
as I tell people, I'm very loosey goosey. I will allow you guys to make up shit and be like, can I use this ability for this asinine reasoning? And I'll be like, yeah, roll for it. Sure, why not?
Look, if you
if you
tell
fuck
the
up,
It's when you bust out a skill challenge.
Oopsie. Yeah.
I love that.
Because I think at one point, Lynx asked to be like, it was like an acrobatics, like you had to dodge some chains and stuff like that. And everyone succeeded, but Lynx was playing a paladin at the time and dumped decks.
Oh.
And she didn't want to take damage because she was the tank. So she was like, can I brute force athletics this? And I'm like, you could try. Sure. The DC is just going to be a little bit higher for you because you're doing it in a different way than what I had intended.
Yeah.
But go for it. Yeah. So Lynx is like one of those players who will ask you to, like, could I use this skill to do this instead of that other skill you pitched? And I'll be like, sure. Okay. The DC might change though, just depending on, like, what we're running.
Yeah. I love that.
And like what is it for spellcasters? I don't care what, like, if you want to play a charisma, like you want to have charisma as your spellcasting modifier for being a cleric because you're persuading your god to give you power. Sure, go for it. I don't care. It doesn't really break the game, I don't think. So I'm like, go for it. Because, like, Ven pitched was like, can I be a wisdom-based sorcerer character? As, like, I am watching everyone in the party cast magic and I'm learning them through, like, movements and tactics and feelings versus charisma. And I'm like, sure. And Creepy's playing a wisdom warlock instead of intelligence charisma.
Oh, that's
like the other bozos.
Well, that's great.
Because that part, our Curse of Shroud party also has no wisdom at all. But that's okay. Who needs wisdom? Me, I need it. I like my wisdom-based classes.
Look, I had two ideas for a Curse of Strahd character. Because, like, as much as I love playing my tiny little halfling, I also have a Battle Master fighter I have not gotten to play yet. And there's a lot of people, or a lot of the time, when I do when I choose characters, I like to do like a lot of like I think a battle master fighter should be an intelligence based fighter, personally.
Yeah. It
Because
makes sense. Yeah.
because they are
Like tactically wise.
yeah, they're working with tactics, and they should be able to add their fucking intelligence modifier or their strength modifier, in my opinion, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe not always, but sometimes they should have an ability to add their intelligence modifier because they are thinking tactically. That's like the tactician Pathfinder archetype for fighter. I let the tactician fighters use their intelligence modifier because they are the tactician.
Yes. That is what the talent trees have. It gives you like the battle maneuvers feature that you can pick up as like a fighting style for fighters if you go down the history like tree. So you can eventually get like tactician, and then it's like you pick up one of the battle master maneuvers and you can swap them out after a long rest. It's really cool, but they make it like you have to invest into this intelligence skill in order to unlock this.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Which a lot of people pick it when they're making like characters who are, tacticians or good on the battlefield. So like I've seen a bunch of paladins do it. I almost had my ranger picked up on it because at one point Stella's gonna run a political the kingdom has fallen, and we're all playing characters that are part of this kingdom that fell.
Yeah.
And I was one of the princesses.
Oh, I like that.
But the other character was it was twin princesses basically.
Mm-hmm.
And one person I was like the ranger character, as more of like I did not like being in the walls of the castle. I liked being outside, learning how to hunt, like learning actual people skills and hunting skills versus like the bullshit political stuff. And then the other person was like the political character.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I really do. It's really fucking cool.
Shall be. Okay. I have to think of a tattletale tiefling name. Or a bodyguard.
Herm.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. My DM brain is not thinking of namesakes unless... Okay, Vic's gonna start thinking of some. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I did do the hex crawl. Like, if anyone logs now into Roll20, the map is now in like a hex crawl kind of like situation.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, it does look kind of sexy. And one day there will be like a West March style game. But I have the brain space to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you ever need help with a West March style game, I will tell you it's a fucking lot. It is a lot. I've been running this one for what, 4 months now? I know it was before my surgery, and it has encompassed every, like, when I have free time to do DM stuff, it is all I do.
Yes.
I have 120, like, I have a almost 2 gigabyte folder of just dungeon maps that I've made. Just so if you guys, and I've made random encounter tables, I've made random NPC tables, and that's a big thing that I suggest doing when you do a West March style game, because a lot of it is randomized. or at least it can be,
Yes.
because Westmarch as a style, if you try to do an overarching plot, which I've kind of done, I foreshadowed the war thing, months ago with there was a quest where you had to go and kill a pack of hyenas that were kidnapping people on the road or whatever. And
Yes,
that's where Swiftfang first came in. Swiftfang, the Knoll leader. And so you guys
Yes.
mopped the floor with him, and then he came back to life and left after you guys left in like a little cutscene. That's the leader that declared war on Redford. I foreshadowed that months ago. And, like, it's not that you can't have an overarching plot. It's that if you're gonna, it takes a lot of work with how much...
A lot of investigation, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work and a lot of leading your players, and without making it seem like they're railroaded, which is wonderful in a way that, like, that's kind of why I have... On each random encounter table, kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit, on each random encounter table I have a thing. It's like a 6 on the low level party, a 5 on the mid-level party, and an 8 on the high-level party encounter tables, where you find an overturned cart with like a Wreckford scout or a beaten-up kobold or, some goblins that got their asses handed to them, and they kind of give you information about if you go here, there's an ancient temple that there's some gnolls inside that they're doing XYZ thing. So if you get that on the random encounter table, you can kind of learn what the gnolls are up to. But nobody's rolled that. Y'all have all rolled fucking Fated Beasts so many times where it's like, you could fight this giant monster or die.
Listen,
Exactly.
if things had played out differently, Midas would have tried to fight that big that dragon.
The
and
Black
lost.
Dragon, yeah. And absolutely fucking lost. And while Midas most of the time reconstitutes, fighting a Black Dragon, your ink would have been melted by the acid. You'd have been dead. Dead.
Yeah. That's figured.
Yeah, like I have an idea where I would start it out, but my idea is like, and this is what, because I was offhandedly talking about, like when I pitched that I was like, I think about doing a Westmarch style eventually for Sylvestris, and you were encouraging me, so I told that to Celeste, and that's what was like, easy. I can fix my Gaul premise idea and make it Westmarch style. And then she started pitching it, and I was like, babe, we need to think it through. And she just got so excited, she started telling everyone, like, yes, this is our plans.
Well, with the goal thing,
But
that's absolutely like that can absolutely work the same way. And if Celeste ever needs help with that, I'm down to help whoever's willing to play. I love helping with D&D campaigns and stuff like that because it's so much fun.
Yeah, we've been talking out of, like, whenever we have the brain space or, like, it just pops in our head, we'll start talking about, like, oh, how is this gonna work between, like, two parties and, two parties that are interchanging with each other? Like, if we had 12 players.
Yep.
Like, how is this greater plot going to work with 12 players? And how is it going to feel fair for those 12 players? Because, like, the idea was, like, someone gets to be the Jarl of a keep.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so one person out of the 12 gets to be the Jarl. How are we going to make it fair for the other 11? And then we start talking about...
So I have a pitch for that.
Yeah.
So, if you go back to basic D&D, like OG basic D&D, when you leveled, you got a title. I can actually tell you what they are. Give me 1 second. I have the book. I'm old. I have the basic D&D set in my hand. So...
Yeah, Celeste has it in her closet.
Fucking wonderful.
Or in our closet.
Hell yeah. So, like, each class got, like, a set of titles you could give. So what you could do is, with one person having the earldom, you could have, like, let's say you've got a fighter, which with the Gaul campaign, that's my character will be. That character could have several titles like veteran, swordmaster, myrmidon, stuff like that. And like those titles could be make it a little more fair as far as like, oh, this character did this with the Jarl, so they got this title to go along with this person. And that could work where they get better titles or higher station as they get stronger. I know me personally, I was going to say I didn't want to be the Jarl as far as that's concerned, because I'm going to play in that game, and I don't want to be the Jarl. I don't want that responsibility.
Yeah.
That's just how I work. I would rather be, like I said in the book, a myrmidon, which is a mercenary. The myrmidons were just a little historical where that title comes from. They were the personal army of Achilles, and they were hireable. They sailed black sails and fucked anybody up they came across. And then they went to Troy.
Yes.
But I think that could be a good way to do it. Or there's also Matt Colville's Followers and Strongholds. It's a very good example of like how to do titles for characters. Fantastic resource, especially if you're using 5e.
Yeah.
So,
that's what she's got the book, like the physical book for Strongholds and Followers. She's got both of them, so that's what she wants to use for it. And we were talking about it, and like at first she was pitching like that's the first thing we do, and then I was like, no, we need to build up to the keep, and she's like, gotcha. So like,
yeah,
that's what we've been talking on the side.
So that's what I was gonna say is building up to getting the keep, because if you have that little adventure of claiming the deed blade, or I believe that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Claiming the deed blade, that little adventure, that is a way to hook players. That is a fantastic way to hook players. And it could also make it kind of a more fair way to choose the Jarl, because whoever gets, like, the killing blow on whatever has the deed blade to begin with becomes Jarl.
Yeah. It's, behind the curtain, it's like a person who's worthy kind of ordeal.
Yeah!
Like, whoever is worthy the item kind of ordeal. It's not gonna be like, oh, when everyone's back is turned, the rogue like slide a hand and picks it up. Therefore, they're the Jarl.
It's like a what is it called? Excalibur type deal.
Yes. Yeah.
Excalibur chooses its own destiny.
But yeah, that's what we were thinking. And then I know I have a town or a city in my setting, or in our setting, called Hebrook, which is basically, because it is close to, it's in the mountains and it's close to the Enchanted Woods, which is home to a lot of dangerous fey creatures, like fey beasts, monsters, and what have you. So there's like a hunting guild, or like a monster hunter guild, where it's like, hey, I need someone to go into the forest or like protect the town from like being overrun by like, I don't want to say pixies, but like we have like these sentry canine beasts that will just sometimes like leave the woods and just cause havoc, or something that's dark and gloomy. There could be some owl bears, have you, and it's just like the Monster Hunter Guild is like, I need you to take care of it.
Yeah.
And that's where Geppetto is. If anyone wants to be an artificer and wants to learn to be one, Geppetto's there.
That's fucking wonderful. So is Pinocchio a lore character?
Yes, Pinocchio is a lore character. Pinocchio is a warforge.
That's fucking awesome.
Somewhere in the world. I might change him because there's a PDF book called Grim Hollow. Makes,
I love Grim
to play for a Grimmer, so to play for a Grimmer settings, and it's got transformations in that book, which I like to use for our games. and it also has a race called Weshelkind, which are little marionette puppets that look like little kids. So I might change him to be a Weshelkind. And it's just like this little
That's
boy
dope.
who got replaced with the changeling, a hag, or maybe was cursed to be, like similar to Pinocchio, was cursed to be a young boy, or like a puppet forever. You can be a young boy, and so bada bing, bada boom, Weshelkind. That Geppetto accidentally activated.
Now you've got a little guy, a little boy.
And he's just like,
I got
my
a son, and
son!
I love him. Yeah.
I love that. I love that a lot.
Reineke, which is Hollow's Jester's character's patron, is based off of the fox from Pinocchio. Hence why he is kind of evil. But we Hollow's fine. He just wants you to do pranks,
Evil patrons
tricks.
are wonderful.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He wants to do pranks, and he also wants He also wants to micromanage break-ins.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. My god of travel and trade, Trog, also very fucking evil. Like, people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But he's an evil bastard.
That's why Nicole doesn't like him.
Reineke is like the equivalent of like he's lawful evil, so he does understand that there are some things he cannot cross because Fey wording and what have you, and he's like, well, technically you can't steal a name from someone, but like if we go ask another Fey and then we steal their, and we ask them to steal this name and then they give us that name, then technically we stole it in the end. But in all technicalities, the Fey stole it.
Yep.
What was a situation I told, like if Hollow ever had to do a break-in into a building and like fails a lockpicking check, he would absolutely be like, all right, I'm gonna let you borrow silence. So what you're gonna do is you're going to cast silence on the window, and then you're just gonna Eldritch Blast it. Those fools can't hear you. You're fine.
They're not gonna see
you're in the room.
They're not gonna see the broken glass eventually and see something's gone awry.
That's why you also have
fine.
the. That's why you also find the cantrip mending. Borrow the cantrip mending.
Yeah.
It's silence, silence, break glass, enter the building, mend the glass, get what you need, break it again, mend it again, leave.
Mend it, and then leave. But that's what he's constantly doing to Hollow when like Hollow fails a thing, or is like, you know, you're running from like a guard captain. He's gonna be like, all you gotta do is just kill him. He's the only person who saw you. So if you kill him, and then we destroy the body so they can't cast Speak with Dead with, we're fine. Those bozos have to use high-level resurrection magic to make this guy talk again. No one knows that. I know it, but they don't know it, so you're fine.
I had a player that was kind of like that, where they were like, oh yeah, no, the spell they used was the one that ages you until you're dust. And they were like, yeah, no, nobody else saw me, and just ages the fucking guard captain to death. And I'm just like, he just turns to dust. And now they're the most powerful necromancer in my world.
Like, yeah, Reineke would absolutely be like, just take his head. If we take the head with us, they can't cast Speak with Dead. We're fine. Golden. They'll never find us.
Yeah, take the head, put it on a pipe, burn it.
Like,
no.
Versus like Iris, who is playing Dorcha, who has like this very quizzical patron from like the Astral Sea who just wants to learn things. So it's like if Dorcha asks like, hey, what does this mean? Or can you tell me what this means? And then the patron will just like go silent and then go research and then come back, and it's a little bigger. So I told Iris, is like, eventually your patron is going to be the size of a house by like all the knowledge it is observing and learning through your party and what you ask of it.
That's fucking wonderful, and I love that.
I'm just trying to imagine. It's like, yeah, no, take your heads. There's no way I can talk to them then. This little raccoon, like, what the fuck? Where am I gonna put a head? Am I just gonna shove it in my bag and run off with it? And then they're gonna always think,
Plan B. Plan B. We go steal a bag of holding. Then we come back, take his head, throw it in the bag of holding. They'll never know. It's on a different plane of existence. Foolproof. But yeah, I have Reineke, and then I have the cat that is also in Pinocchio, Madagot, as also a spirit of, like, felines. And it's also gonna be a little bit... Puss in Boots is gonna be its own character, but there's gonna be similar qualities to Madagot with Puss in Boots, where it's gonna be like, ah, yes, I am the chosen feline of power, and then Puss in Boots comes over, no, you're not, stop impersonating me, stop it. I know you were
Fucking love
technically
that.
more powerful than me, but stop it.
I fucking love that.
Yeah. Like, I came up with a bunch of spirits that are... Because, you know, fables are very prominent, also folklores and stuff. So I wanted to get animal spirits that represent, like, personality or, like an ideology, and then have them be, like, little trickster spirits.
That's fucking awesome.
So, okay. And
I am so excited to play in this world that y'all have cooked up. It's going to be amazing to be able to just fucking enjoy this world that you've fucking invented and invested so much time in.
It really is so good.
me,
It's been a passion project for how
And-
long?
5 years? I had a server dedicated for Jester and I to, like, make world building things, and then it ended up becoming a friend server. And then we made a different friend server, and I was just, I don't need 2 friend servers. All of our friends are in the other server, so I'm just gonna delete everything, but I saved all the Sylvester stuff.
Nice.
And then, watching Celeste play and, like, run different games made me go, like, oh, I should make a setting, or I should go back to that old setting I was thinking about and, like, enrich it more so people can actually play in that setting. And then I ran, what's it called? Oh, it's the one in the mountains. Rhyme
Rime of the
something.
Frost Maiden?
Yeah, Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yes, thank you. I have that book. I got it as a like a birthday present for one of my
Nice.
exes, and she encouraged to put Rime of the Frost Maiden because it's just like a mountainous town and what have you. She's like, put it in your setting, and I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that.
I
So
have a
like
few of those where
on
I've
the
just
map,
put them
I
in my
think
setting.
it. Yeah. So, like, on the map, Mount Phosphor, that is where Rime of the Frost Maiden is.
Mhm.
I really
And,
love
like, the
little
White
guy.
Queen inherently... What'd you say?
So I love the little guy I play for Rime of the Frost Maiden. It was very fun.
Yeah. I'll one day go back to it. Rime of the Frost Maiden had a lot of, towards the end of the module, it gets a little, illithid heavy and alien. And
Yeah.
a bunch of like technology, and I don't like mind flayers. I don't like illithids at all. It's just they're gross because they do the little parasite thing, and that goes in your body, and then it destroys you, and it pops up. Like there's a whole thing in Rime of the Frost Maiden where you come across a person who is infected, or the book suggests that one of the players is a ticking time bomb, and they have the parasite in them, and at some point it's going to activate and kill the character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like this.
So
I don't like this. This is kind of gross.
I'm so sorry, bestie, because one of the overarching plots of that is coming in Arc 2 is all illithid.
Yeah.
I am so
I don't
sorry.
like it. As long as we don't go too heavy in like the body horror.
Oh,
that is,
no.
that's
So-
in there. I'm just like, that's fine.
I'm using the illithid as these are unequivocally evil creatures that you can feel good about murdering kind of situation.
Yeah.
Because I've come across this problem where certain players have been like, oh, well, why are these monsters or these enemies seen as evil? And I'm just like, please just wait and see. And so if I come up with kind of a this is how it works, and unequivocally evil race.
Yeah.
I can just kind of put them places and not have to worry about this. And like I love players who question that, but when it's a constant, okay, this encounter was not meant to be diplomacy. That's when I start going from where I'm having a lot of fun watching you guys kind of work your way through the world, and then going from, okay, but also I just explained that this guy's possessed by a demon, and that that's not actually the person, he's a demon, kill him. Like...
Yeah. Like, this character is not representing the whole entire
group.
race. Like, we're not saying, yes, this race is evil. Like, that's the bad thing. That's the thing we want to avoid with. It's just this one particular character,
and this
which could happen in all
or
races,
this
in all
small
different
group
diversities.
is a fucking bad person and they need to die.
Kind of stink.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so,
always like a tightrope you have to be careful walking on.
Yeah, exactly. So you were talking about how long this has been a passion project. Let me send... I'm gonna send you specifically the first digital image ever made for UEs. I made this when I was 14, so don't judge how cringe
I remember you
it
talking
is.
about,
Don't judge how cringe this is. But I made this in MS Paint.
Yeah.
So this was...
Unfortunately, I didn't start
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jester and I didn't start D&D till about like 2015, 2016.
Well,
Yeah.
originally this was not meant for D&D. That's not what I made this world for. I was
just
going
a
to write a
world.
book. When I was young, I did short stories, and I would write them in this world that was magical and fantastical, but I didn't have a name for it. And this is the fucking first product of me trying to make it. And then I took this image that I've sent you in DMs and I drew it. But I was like, maybe if I added some like standard fantasy races to it, what would happen if I added like halflings, or because I love halflings, humans and elves and things. And I don't know if I've ever sent you a picture of it, but I have the physical like map of UEs drawn on a piece of, I think it's 4x3 poster board, and it is framed on my wall. And it is I drew it while I was waiting for my kid to be born. And that was when it became a D&D setting. So that was around 2014.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because before that I was playing in Mystara, which was the original, like the OG basic D&D world. That's why originally, before I made my own Pantheon, I was using the Mystara gods.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing that I had to think about. Going to Jester, it was just like, God, we need gods.
Yeah.
I'm not using any of like I did have because of the Rime of the Frost Maiden, I had the two drow queens, Saline and or Saloon, and the other one, whose name, the evil one that everyone's like, yes, all drow are evil. Yeah, Lolth. I had both of those into my on my god divinity for a bit because Jester was playing a drow, and I had another player who was a drow, and they both came from two different drow communities. Whereas, so they kind of be like, yeah, I support Saline, and then I support Lolth, and then one of them had the patron, or had Lolth be their patron as a warlock, and I was like, yes. And then I deleted them because I was like, no, I don't want any Wizards of the Coast bullshit on my stuff. I want this to be all unique and different and cool.
So
the Raven Queen was the other one I had.
I love. So I do. There are a few things that I really like. The Raven Queen's a really good one. And like I use. There's he's a TSR product because though Wizards owns the rights to basic D&D, they don't own the rights to Saint Cuthbert because he is technically an actual saint. So technically, the Vatican owns it.
Okay.
But so I did originally. Saint Cuthbert was a person in UEs. He was not a god per se, but he was people. He had a cult dedicated to him. It was him. Bahamut exists within my setting, but he's not a god. He's a demigod. And then who else did I steal from Mystara? Sahanin Moonbow, which is an elven patron, is a living, what is known as a living elder one, and the elder ones are like my setting's patrons for warlocks and shit.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I did steal a couple of things, but those are now I completely retconned their names, and they are different people. But if you know, if you've ever looked into like Mystara's pantheon, and you meet these characters, you're like, I know who the fuck that was inspired by.
Yeah, similarities.
And it's one of those things where it's like, it's the put the things you like in your games, and that's kind of where the like way I see it essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I have the things because I kept the 4 courts for the Feywild that they typically have in D culture, but instead those courts no longer exist because after the war, the Fey decided, okay, we'll play your game and we'll be all on even ground. So we are gonna like establish our courts, and it's kind of hard to keep a court when 2 of your gods, or 2 of like the Summer Queen and the Winter Queen, decide to become gods. So there's no Summer Court and there's no Winter Court because they're gods now, and the Autumn Queen, which is the equivalent of Maleficent or Volsiri in my game, or in the game, she's dead with air quotes.
Yep, very heavy air quotes for dead.
Yeah, very heavy. For those, her title, her Fey title, like not her Fey name, but her title, the thing that she represents, is a never-ending story. Therefore, she cannot die because her story never ends.
Is Falcor
Volsiri is unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
Who is that?
I had to. It's a joke on the Neverending Story title because the movie Neverending Story. Okay. Falcor's the dragon from that movie.
Okay, I've never seen it.
Oh my god!
I've never seen it either.
Ooh! I know what we need to do, besties. You and I, y'all and I, need to watch Neverending Story. It's gonna fuck you up. It's a sad fucking movie.
The Neverending Story. Go ahead.
Yes, I've seen pictures of this. Like, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
I've never actually watched it.
Is it the one where there's the swing on the tree over the like water, and something happens there? But
no, that's the Bridge of Terabithia.
Yeah, that's the other incredibly sad movie.
Yeah, that's the Bridge of Terabithia. Here, I'll grab pictures. It might look familiar to you. Just I'm not sure.
I think my mom has seen it before, but I haven't.
Neverending Story is one of those movies that when I was a child fucked me all the way up. It's also one of the movies that got me into fantasy.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. I'm pretty sure my mom's seen this, but I haven't.
Yeah, I feel like this is my parents kind of. They tried to get me to watch it. I showed no interest in it when I was like a baby. When I was young, and I was really attached to all the animal movies and the Land Before Time series. I was obsessed.
I feel really old now. Thank you. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you are. You're just oh, you're not too that much older than me, but you're still older than me.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
2 years old. 2 years too old to be, 2 years too young to have been born in the '80s. Uh,
Yeah.
I was born right at the end of the 90s. Which was a wild time
it
because,
was.
uh, like growing up, I remember, fuck, that was a bad move. I remember distinctly, when, like, you had your computers, but you had your computers, but you couldn't use the internet if someone else was on the phone. So
Ah,
you had to
yes,
wait for them to
dial
get
up.
off the phone.
Ah, yes, dial up.
Yeah.
I too remember dial up. I remember teaching my great
When did
grandmother
Linux?
to use broadband internet. Uh,
But one of my favorite
I'm gonna say,
parts
when did this movie come out?
while you do
Sorry,
that,
keep going. I'm talking to myself.
oh, you're good. One of my favorite parts, I think, when I was making the world with Abby,
mhm.
was like, um, you were talking. You know, you have your Red Queen, who's like pretty, like, like the religious part of it all.
Mhm.
And so the Red Queen, what really intrigued me was like when we talked about. So if you look on the map here, um, all the way down there where Dawn Point
Yes.
is like a very well reputed like magic school.
Mhm.
And so travel there, I can't remember what we talked about, but travel to there was like you can't bring any weapons, or if you need to have a permit if you're bringing any weapons. There's like a long list of things. It's like for the fantasy TSA essentially, but I just thought it was like really exciting that like I just thought it was like really exciting to talk about like how an island that's like so recluse handles travelers going in and out, and what's allowed to go there and what's allowed to leave there. And it's just like really interesting to me, to be honest.
Oh no, absolutely. That sounds fucking dope.
Yeah, because I can't remember the exacts, but
Uh,
there's like permits, right?
Yes. I'll go into it. Do we mind if the Blorbo listens in?
I don't mind at all.
I've turned off her Fuji on my end, so she's not going to show up on screen.
I mean,
Yeah, she
if
can listen.
Blorbo wants to join, I don't mind.
She's at work right now,
Ah, okay.
unfortunately.
I don't mind that she listens in.
Yeah, I don't mind either.
But yeah. I remember like
yes.
adventures traveling to the school or like traveling there. You had to have like weapon permits, and you couldn't bring certain things with you, like on the trip over. But it's been a while.
It was going to be customs, basically. Yeah.
Ah,
It was
yeah.
basically going to be the equivalent of like TSA. Also, because at that point when we were discussing it, that is when Belle was running Chris's, and we got to Valaki, and Valaki is very TSA vibe-ish, where it's just like, we need your name, we need to know your race, we need to know any identifiers that you have. How many weapons do you have? What's on your person? What's the purpose of coming to into the city? And those kind of things. And I wanted to use that for Dawn Point because, yeah, it is that's where the Red Queen is located.
That's where she
But
lives.
it's also where the High Peach Magic Academy is, which doesn't have a name. I still have to think about it. Like, what am I going to call it?
Mm-hmm.
So because those two are there, they have to make it very, like, rule heavy on, like, visitors who are not citizens of Dawn Point.
Yeah, then that makes sense.
At one point, Yeah, at one point I thought about had to have like, a legal documentation to show that you can cast certain magic.
Oh
But for a
yeah,
while, and I still think I want to do it.
like
I
chart
think
magic.
Dawnpoint just does not. Yeah, it's enchantment. Yes, you cannot cast any enchantment magic in Dawnpoint without like the Crown's Guard coming for you and being like, "Why did you cast this spell?"
What
It's
was the
Or,
really
you know, if a cleric tries to, yeah, what was the purpose of cleric casting Zone of Truth? Like, why are you doing that? What are you trying to get? Why did you come and get us to get information out of there? You should have gotten a permit. You could come to us to get a permit in order to cast said spells.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I
yeah.
believe at some point we
And
talked
the Red
about
Queen's a...
like the island being very like you have to like the culture shock between the island and the rest of the world is you have to be very careful what you say because people go missing all the time after saying the wrong thing. I think something we talked about.
Well, yeah, because it's the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. She's gonna have that fiery temper. She's going to be off with your head.
But very subtly
she is,
at this point.
She is cruel and mean, but so like the Red and White Queen are very based off of Alice in Wonderland's the dichotomy of like a mean sister and a sister who is very kind and caring. But they're both kind of malicious in their own ways.
Yeah.
They're both very high level casters. So Faith, the Red Queen, is a high powerful wizard, and Lyriel, the White Queen, is a sorcerer. So of course they hate each other because of how they cast their magics, because Faith is like, I had to learn how to use my magic, and you just inherit it? What the fuck's wrong with you, sister? And she's like, I'm sorry that I am so perfect and you just had to learn.
Damn, sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah, okay. What did she say? Where somebody who's under the influence of enchantment magic is still susceptible to laws and punishment depending on their ability to resist. If you commit a crime under Gaius and you can't survive the spell, if you try to resist it or you kind of get pardoned. But if you could have resisted the spell, you're fully liable for your crimes despite it being done under duress. Yeah. So Faith is just like, fuck your enchantment magics. Unless you have a permit, don't cast them here.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually
and then
dope.
Yeah, and then where Lyriel is, it's Ulrich. This is inspired by an acquaintance of ours. I no longer see them as a friend, unfortunately. Who had a city in their setting that was dedicated to worshiping all the other gods. So like it had different districts where it would have like a shrine to insert god here, and that's where like the church influence kicks in.
So I have a city like Ulrich that in my setting too.
Is the city, yeah, it's the city of gods and the city of the light because it's the closest city to the sun. All bless Haloriel and her beautiful bright nut light. Whereas Faith is just like, ew, gods, what have they done for us? Nothing.
Thank you.
What are they good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. The city that we based it off on, like, I think the idea was really neat as a concept. It's like,
what a concept.
What a concept.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing about homebrewing stuff and making your own worlds. You just take inspirations of like from other people and go like, I like that. Yoink, mine now.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
my friend. We're gonna have some tacos later. We're just little guys, little pals.
But I did change them. The queens were originally humans, and then I decided, oh, wouldn't it be fun if they were both hexbloods? Hence why their power has been so long, and a lot of people appreciate, like, a lot of citizens appreciate them because they represent both human mortals and fae, because they are like a hodgepodge of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're more well-respected compared to their grandmother who started the war, all because Maleficent decided, I'm gonna curse your child.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Teacher,
Oopsie.
shit. I was supposed to say teacher, I raised my hand. But in the midst of, like, preparing to say that, I'm trying to remember what the fuck I was gonna say. Where did it go? God, we were talking about...
I will say Maleficent in this game is more inspired with the movie Maleficent that gave her more of a backstory that Angelina Jolie played
I love
in,
that.
where it's just like where she was a generally nice fae that got crossed by mortals. Hold on, I gotta raise the user limit for people. What does it look like? It's a sword.
It
I know
does.
it's sweat. Oh, it's a rag. Like you're dabbing yourself.
I
Cease the violence. You
I am glad that Cell got my reference.
God, what we were talking about, like the queens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
God, I really had a thing I wanted to bring up, and I can't remember it. Which really bites. Crap. Shit. Dude.
I know.
Gone.
When I introduced the queens that I was making, their spell sheets, like their actual cards, like their NPC stat blocks. I screenshot one spell from both of their character lists, and I posted it in the Discord, and everyone was like, hot. I'd let her do that. They both know power word kill.
I'd let her do that. I would let her do that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of these queens know power word kill. They're very powerful spellcasters. They had to work themselves to be this powerful in order to rule a queendom together. And just in case something bad happens, or the Auto Queen decides to fuck over the treaty and decides to declare war again, and it's like, we need some way to defend ourselves.
I raised my hand. So remember when we were talking about... Thank you. Can we talk about Ulrich and the secrets underneath it?
I don't think that is going to be a thing. I think I'm gonna delete that.
You're gonna delete that one?
I think I'm gonna delete that.
Because I was thinking about it, and I was like...
I'm still...
You're still on the fence about it?
So, yeah, greater scheme, because I might delete this because there's a lot of other, like, factors that are in the setting right now. I wanted to have Ulrich built upon a slumbering great worm. Like a white or silver great worm that is just forever in slumber.
Mm.
And that is where Lyriel got her draconic sorcery, was from, like, just being in close proximity to this dragon. And if it ever came to an instance where the world was in trouble, Lyriel had the power to destroy Ulrich to wake up the slumbering dragon.
Oh, I like
help
that.
Fight. But I don't think I like it, but I don't know if I want to keep it, per se. I might put it somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea.
I don't want the queen to have that. Like, right now, I have to develop... I want to do the Jack of the Beanstalk thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of the giants just live in the clouds. They're not on land with everyone. You have to climb a beanstalk, and then you're in the land of giants.
I like that a lot.
And so I want something similar. Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, giants, like, it's hard to fit giants into a world without giving them their own area. Like, otherwise, giants would just take over fucking everything.
Yeah. So there's somewhere in the world where there's little boy Jack, who planted a bean and grew a beanstalk and went up there and talked to some giants and may have gotten yelled at by said giants. I I will tell you, you guys will go to the Land of Giants in the game. There is an important item that you need to get that is in the Land of Giants. Is it the golden goose? Is it the golden egg? Is it the lyre or harp? I can't remember what musical instrument is it. Or is it something else? A child?
A child.
Imagine POV. Imagine POV. Imagine you're like a giant, literally minding your own business. I imagine like most medium-sized creatures, or like like the regular little guys. I imagine it's like, who let ants in here? Why are they in here?
Right?
I just cleared
Yeah.
this place. Why are you on my floor? Get out of here!
Yeah, but it'd be like the equivalent of like, actual storm giants and what have you live up there. It's not like a little ogre or something like that. That's gonna be on like the material plane. And they're not like orcs and ogres are not evil in this game. Goblins are now fairy folk, like fae folk. So they represent an old court of mischief. So they're the little hee. I'm gonna cause troubles. I'm gonna make your socks wet.
So
I'm gonna do it on purpose.
Question.
Get got.
How do you handle halflings in this setting? Because I have a
Tieflings?
halflings, little guys.
Oh, halflings.
Yeah, because halflings have a fae cousin called brownies.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're called brownies. And they are mischievous fae
brownies.
spirits. And I love them so much.
I feel like they would be cousins to goblins. Not direct cousins, but like somewhere in that lineage, they're like a little bit, because like brownies would be like the centerpiece, and then it's like it breaks off into goblins or halflings.
Okay.
I do know that I have brownies, pixies, and some fays are like the typical if they want to have wings, they can guarantee to have wings because they are small trickster spirits or tiny trickster spirits, and they need a means to quicklings. That's the other one that I'm thinking of. They need a means to escape, and so they have wings in order to fly away and move quicker so they can get out of harm's way, versus elder fays who don't have wings because they have the magical capabilities to fight back. Though powerful like archfays or certain type, if like a character wants to have wings, I'm gonna let them have it. It's just not permanent. But like, if you ever meet an archfey, their wings are gonna be huge and resplendent to show the raw capability of how much magic they have in their body that is forced to be wings. Like, has to leave their body and then they just manifest into something greater.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Oh yeah, we talked.
It was like I pitched it. Yeah, like I pitched it to Vic if Vic wanted Hawthorne to be like to have changelings have wings if they wanted to. He said nah, and I'm like, fair enough. I just wanted to pitch it because Cell picked it for Chloe, though her wings are atrophied because she doesn't use them. It's like more of a station kind of ordeal. Like, yes, I am a very powerful spellcaster. Look at my wings. I don't know how to fly with them because I've never had to use them.
For decoration, as opposed to having use.
People could do a call shot to harm like fairies' wings. It's gonna be very high DC, similar to like most call shots. But if you do, it kind of disrupts their magical flow a little bit. So like it's kind of like you give them the stun condition for their casting. Like they won't be able to cast for a certain amount of rounds because you just destroyed a part of their wings.
Okay.
This is why pixie dust is very important, and it is a illegal trade because you have to kind of crush a pixie's wings in order to get pixie dust. Or it has to be, gifted from a pixie. Like, here is the dust that fell off of my wings so long ago. I'm giving it to you in the bag so you can learn how to fly.
Oh,
for like 2 minutes.
What did we talk about? What did we talk about would happen if, like, a fae or, like, a pixie, like, lost its wings? So I know we talked about it. I can't remember what we said on.
It is kind of like they're muted. like you're ripping a part of their essence away from their body. So it's like a dramatic change in personality. Like you just took half of their soul with them, as if you completely destroy, or if you're cruel and mean, rip their wings from their back. Some Fae actually willingly try to lose their wings. And, like, yeah, it's gonna cut their magical prowess, and they might be similar to, like, how Rovia does Solus, where they're just kind of coasting on life, living, but they're not truly living because most of their personality is kind of shot. There might be bad guys you run into who have a collection of fairy wings in their wall, and they're sick fucks, and you have permission to kill them.
Oh, hell yeah.
That shit's kind of fucked up. That shit's fucked up for real, for real.
Oh yeah, no, that would be lots of death. That'll be, oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
In a world where Fae are common, it's time to murder motherfuckers who hunt them.
Yeah. And it's like, during the Civil War, it was very common to do this practice, and then after the Civil War, it was like hey, we're not gonna do this anymore, I promise, yada yada yada. Let's not do this anymore. But there's gonna be, you know, those sick fucks who want power and control over both mortal Fae and dragons, and be like, if I have a pixie's wing, I have the most capable arcane magic in my hands right now. And I'm like, oh no, what would happen? Oh dear, I will never maim your characters unless you tell me in the DMs, like, do it. Hurt me. And I'm okay.
Abby looking at this group of friends is like, oh, this fucked up thing could happen? Eyeball emoji, oh no. Oh no, what if?
Oh no.
Oh no, what if?
Yeah. I'm a DM who likes to have permission to do these fucked up things to your characters, because, like, having it happen right out of left field and it turns out to be bad sucks. So I always go like, hey, something bad's about to happen to your character. Be prepared. Or if, like, hey, I'm introducing a monster in the setting, it has an attack that could remove a limb. Are you okay losing a limb? And if so, what limb?
Okay,
which one would you like to lose?
Yeah, that's dope.
Which one do you want to lose if you had to lose one?
Like, Abby, I'm okay if, like, my character loses the leg or loses an arm. But when it comes to the eye, I'm like, no, you're not gonna hurt. Like, I don't want to think about, like, oh no, eyeball explodes, squish. Now I can only see out of one eye. Like, no. No. Eyes are off the limit. You could scar me and give me cool, sexy, but you are not gonna let me lose my eye, because that's kind of gross.
Yeah, no,
or like
absolutely.
a tongue or something like that, an ear. Because my mind is like, if I think this is gross, I'm going to ask my players how do they feel, so they also don't get grossed out or triggered in some case.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes total sense.
It's really great, and I think communication is really important, especially when you have, like, you know, enough people you're playing a game that can sometimes get a little messy or a little You go, hey, what don't you want to see? Like, for example, both Abby and Belle know, I don't like maggots. I think they're gross. And describing gross food tends to have, like, oh yeah, there's also those in there. And I'm like, no thanks. I'm good.
Yeah, that's why
I like you.
That and, like, spiders and things I've kind of completely eliminated from my world. Other than, like, the spider goddess, Shalara. I tend to not, like, describe things that I know my players are definitely against or definitely can't handle as far as, like, triggers go.
Yeah.
Because, and I know a lot of old grognards, that'll go, oh, well, why? And I'm like, because it's about player happiness. I don't care that you want to run a dark, gritty game. You can do that without intentionally making your players uncomfortable.
I think the only exception I would be so cruel is if I ever have to cast Feeble Mind on someone.
Mm.
But I would ensure that if that spell was ever casted on someone, that there would be an easy way to fix it. Because, like, you don't want to play a character that's feeble-minded for, like, ever.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Or
if-
if
yeah.
like, but
What-
sometimes you need to have a bad guy who's got to have invoke fear into your characters, and if they're really testing the limits, or they're like, "What you gonna do? Stab me?" I'm like, "Yeah, the bad guy's gonna stab you because you provoked it, you idiot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you go. Ha ha. Fuck me, Strahd. Strahd's gonna kill you."
He's gonna fight you. Look, I'm a silly little goofy little guy. However, when I go hee hee, I make joke about the big bad. I don't expect if I ever said that in universe to go utterly unpunished or have something just not happen.
Oh, I always whenever Jester in Curse of Strahd goes like purposely antagonizes the creatures we're fighting, I'm like, okay, they're coming for you, and then Jester gets knocked unconscious, and then all the other players are like, "You idiot! What are you doing?" And then they have to cast like Healing Word on. It's not this iteration of Curse of Strahd. It was the last iteration where, Lottie was a monk,
Mhm.
and it's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to be right in front, and I gotta punch things in order to, like, do my job. So therefore, I'm the Gish, like, frontliner, and then would go unconscious, and then Irina in the back would be like, "You idiot, stop going unconscious," and then would cast, like, Healing Word to bring Lottie back up.
Yeah. Like, why are
Yeah.
you doing this? Please stop.
So, like, yeah, sometimes I make hee hee a little bit. Sometimes I make hee hee dumb decision. However, I'm not gonna be. How dare you not let me get away with making a stupid bad decision? You know, it doesn't make sense for people to be like, "What?" But then we should be. It's like, no, I know the consequences when I make the hee hee funnies, but I don't do it too often to where it's annoying. Or at least I try not to.
But it's like, oh no, I'm gonna steal this very powerful artifact. No one else is gonna see us. And then it's like, the big bad's around the corner and sees you take the powerful artifact. You're gonna get fucked. Unless you can escape quickly. And sometimes players don't want to run when it's the obvious option, like, you need to run from this encounter. They never run.
Yeah,
I
they
learned
never
this.
run.
They
It's always
tried
a bad
and then
idea.
and then they get their ass kicked. And then they think, after, like, what, 2 people go unconscious, then they're like, oh shit, we need to run. And I'm like, guys, it's, like, too late. It's too late.
You've already
You
committed to
really
the bit.
pissed off this bad guy. Stay with it.
Yeah. At this point, what is the point of running? You're gonna die.
Yeah. Like, right now, in Curse of Strahd game, they are about to fight something that is basically a deadly encounter. Just based on the vibes I'm getting, and everyone's agreeing to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I had 3 options in this town. It's like, okay, they could solve this diplomatically. They could hit the trigger button of, oh shit, oh no, I'm fucked. Or they can do the small things and then just leave town.
Yeah.
Immediately they all go, oh shit, oh fuck, I'm hitting the button. So I'm panic leveling them up so they don't die
Oh
I would
yeah.
like
at
no,
level
I-
4.
you have no
level
idea.
5, so
You have no idea how many times people have like signed up for quests in the Westmarch game where it's like, I'm this level 3 character going into what is a level 9 quest. And
I'd
I've had
like
to
to-
go, oh god, and panic balance.
I'd like to point
Yeah.
out, this all started the oh shit, oh fuck, oh god button,
Mm-hmm.
which what that got set off was because I was like, oh, I had a weird dream. I'm gonna talk to the people who know Barovia, and then slowly it evolved from, realization, and then you see the flower, like you see the flowers, and then wait a minute, and then like connecting dots, and then eventually it's like small domino. Lottie wants to talk about having a bad dream. Big domino. Big bad fight that kill you.
I keep I told Celeste like the breakdown of the fight because I was afraid I was going to kill you guys, and she was like, "No, do it. I don't care if it's a deadly encounter." Because I have like
Kill them
what I
all.
do as a DM is if it's an unwinnable or unfair encounter that's going to happen, I have like if this character goes unconscious, or if the party is at half health, or most of the party is unconscious, this scene happens.
Yeah.
That will kind of save their asses. So they don't, it's not a huge TPK moment, because it's like, this was a solution, this was a thing that they triggered too early, and I'm not going to punish them for it. So like in one game, I had, in the Rise of the Frost Maiden, if Jester's character went down or Amanda's character went down, the two drows, something would happen. The dryad or the druid that basically modified memoried Jester's character, so they did not remember all of the horror that happened to them, would show up and save the day. Or it would be your patron for the other character, who was Loth. Loth will show up,
Holy
save the day,
shit!
and then turn
Wait a
to
minute.
that person
Wait a
and be
minute.
like,
You were gonna
"What the
have
fuck are you
fucking
doing?"
Lolth show up in Barovia?
Yeah, it was
Holy fuck!
not in Barovia. This was in Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, my brain went, oh my god, Lolth versus Strahd would be a badass fight. Like,
No. So I will tell you here. So big bad oh shoot oh fuck moment. I've come up with this idea. I have warned the players. There is a 25% chance that Strahd will show up in this combat. And it's not to fight them, it's to save them, because you have Irina, and then you have another person who is also kind of Irina.
yeah,
And they're both unconscious. So therefore, Strahd's wee woo is like, my Tatiana danger senses are tingling, and then will show up, see that both of these people are in trouble, and will save the day, and then probably kidnap these
both
two
the
people.
unconscious
Because it's like,
people?
clearly you're not fit. Yeah, clearly you're not fit to save these people. I'm gonna save them. You can come have dinner at my house later and talk to them, and we could talk this out.
Yeah, later we're gonna have a
Another player-
discussion about this.
Yeah, because I haven't introduced Strahd so far as like a malicious spirit. Anything like they haven't the person invoked like Strahd's wrath at all, and it's just like a looming threat that's over there, and they know they have to do something with Strahd in order to like bring peace to Barovia. But like, I haven't had this bozo show up, but this is one of the cases bozo shows up if something happens to bozo 1 or bozo 2. Another instance is we have a warlock, and that warlock is going to summon their patron mid-combat, and their patron is basically the other mother from Coraline.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
And then I started to think, I'm like, okay, so if Mother shows up in combat and tries and saves people, and then tries to like take someone as like leverage, or like, you're welcome, I saved you, I'm taking this person with me. Yeah. Lynx's character is absolutely gonna pull out her gun and shoot that person.
Just pulls a gun out and
so they
shoots them
finished.
in the face.
Yeah, and then so it's gonna be, they finish the combat, they ask someone to help finish this combat, and then they start another combat with a malicious spirit or a patron, and then I started blasting, and I'm like, okay, so I have planned like this could devolve into 3 fights. There is a possibility that Mother and Strahd could fight each other.
Oh,
And I'm sitting here going like, I don't know what's gonna happen during this combat, and I'm terrified, but I have it all planned out just in case.
yeah,
Who would win?
I've had to do that a couple of times, because there's a character in the Westmarch game, Jess's character, Nakawe. If Nakawe goes down at any given point, right?
Yeah.
There is I roll a D percentile, and there's a 30% chance that the God of the Sun just shows up. And that's not good for fucking anybody at that point. But at the same time, the other, like, percentile die is Nakawe's other step-parent shows up, who is the second most powerful vampire in UEs. And then there's another, like, there's a third option where the single most powerful Fae in UEs shows up because Mifune's been tasked with taking care of Nikawe. So, like, I've had to know that in my head, whereas when every time Nikawe goes out on a fucking mission, where I'm like, there is a potential where I'll have to use these characters, even though it is not my intention to do so.
And then this just sort of just happened, and we realized, oh fuck, we've made a little guy who really, after they retire, is probably a good thing for the world.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it is a good thing for the rest of the world that you are retiring your character.
I'm just like, there's too much of this character dies, and it's just too much. But you know, it's great. I need to post that quest for the Jabberwocky at some point.
Yes, you do.
We gotta sort that out.
Yeah, we can talk about that at some point. Whenever you are available to do so.
Yeah. But it's fun. What was the last thing we talked about? Player death?
Yeah.
My other mother, all that?
Yep.
We also have in this one, in Barovia, I guess, of like, you get one get out of death free card.
Technically, you guys have two, because you guys have a that allows you to cast Revivify as for free, and then it goes dormant as it's recharging. And it's like a week or two. It takes 2 weeks to recharge. But then you always have like a one free Revivify that anyone can cast despite your... As long as you have the ability to cast spells, which is everyone in the game, because nice thing, everyone is born as a sorcerer, because when you smush the Feywild, the Shadowfell, and the Materia together, magic is fucked up.
Yeah.
So everyone's just kind of innately magical. Which is interesting, because, like, Ven's playing a character who has no magic. It's a rogue and a fighter, the two classes that don't touch magic. And I've come up with, like, if you decide, so at any point in the campaign, you want to cast a spell that is outside of your spellcasting abilities, it's not on your spell sheet, or it is on the sorcerer spell list. You could force your body to cast that spell. You will just have repercussions. You'll take damage based off of the level of the spell. What is it? Is it on your spell list? Is it outside of your spell list? The potency of it, like if you're trying to, like, it's a first level spell, but you want to upcast it to 3rd level. And then you'll take damage as your body is trying to rip yourself apart. Or in my game, it's your body starts to crystallize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have any, so if Evan ever overcast it as a rogue and a fighter, and decided, like, everyone is down and wants to cast, like, mass heal word, so everyone gets like a D4 hit points.
Yeah.
So they get back up in the combat. She will be vulnerable to the damage, so could actually kill her character. And I've explained that to her, and she's like, "Ooh, sexy. I like this." So it's like if you're not a spellcaster, with like the classes you are not a spellcaster, you will be vulnerable to the damage because you're not used to casting spells. So it's literally your body ripping you apart, trying to figure out how this magic works.
Damn, I should have kept Tamara a Cavalier fighter.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you want to, you could change it. I don't care. You just can't change your character, like,
after it's already been
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stuck between making them
like...
making her a paladin or a cavalier fighter. I know it's one or the other, but like, because I really like.
I will say, if you want to go into the fighter route, I will just let you have the Divine Smite feature onto your weapon, so you can cast like Divine Smite, like up to your proficiency bonus. So you can do it twice per day.
That's fucking awesome.
And it could be either fire, cold, or radiant damage, whatever you choose.
Yeah, it'll probably be radiant because like, The two weapons I want to give Tamara specifically are her scimitar, which we've already made, and then eventually I want to give her a lance.
Yeah.
Because I think lances are fucking cool. Uh,
Yeah.
But I'm not. I might. What I
And,
might
like-
do is later into her like arc, I might multi-class her into Cavalier.
My game will go to hopefully 20. I already set out the big bad at the end of the game, so it is nasty for level 20. But if I have to, or my brain space doesn't allow me to hit 12, then I will just mitigate it to like 15.
Yeah.
But like Ven thought we were going to 10, and so she was like, "Oh, I can't pick up a spellcasting class," and I'm like, "No, honey, we're going to 20. Be wild, be free." And
Yeah.
if you're ever lacking on an ability because you multi-classed,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give you a magic item that fixes that, so you still feel strong and powerful, not like lag behind the other party members.
I love that.
We're just like a straight class.
I love that
I think
a
it's
lot.
stupid. So it's like, there you go.
I love that as a DM, like as a fellow DM, I love that you do that because I do the same
Yeah.
fucking thing. Growing up playing old school D&D, a lot of characters and a lot of players were motivated by magic items. Nowadays, like standard 5th edition makes magic items a dime a dozen, but at the same time, like I want magic items to matter. So like, yeah, you have things like in my world, kobolds, because they are draconic and they're in nature, and they a lot of them are red scaled. Most kobolds carry fire activated spears. Like the weapons that kobolds carry are magically enchanted with fire because they're basically all sorcerers. That's kind of how I've made kobolds. They revere the dragon, which scales they have, so they innately have the magic of that monster. So yeah, or that dragon. So like, yeah, if you have green scaled kobolds, they're gonna have acid, because I play a lot of Pathfinder. They're gonna have acid or poison damage on their spears. But then there are other magic items that are fucking relic items, artifact items that were from ancient times that are fucking amazing, and I want those magic items to matter. I want players to be motivated to go get that loot, get those magic items.
I heard you guys talking about changing characters.
Mm-hmm.
Or changing character stuff. I remember the first time we played D&D, our first DM was like, up until like, what, level 5, you can change
You can change your character.
Or like anything about your character save for like certain things. I can't remember on that much.
It was that was the race and gender based. It was like the only thing, like, he wanted static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else could be finger waves.
Yeah. Like I'm also a person who is, oh, you don't like the class that you liked? I'm not gonna make you multi-class into a class. We'll just take all 6 level rogue and we'll change it to a different class. Your hit points might change based on what D10, D6 class you change into. That's the only thing that's gonna matter in the end. And like, I want you to have fun, not be stuck with a character you're not having fun with.
The only
like, some people don't want to like retire a character. They're just like, I just need to change this one thing on this character and I'll be happy. And I'm okay. We'll just, you don't like being a fighter anymore? Do you want to be a paladin instead? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, we'll change all your fighter levels to paladin.
Yeah, absolutely. I love stuff like that.
I don't care.
Save for like a few circumstances. Mainly that's been a pretty good mold to follow, because most people don't change up their stuff all the time, and so I think it's a really good thing to have.
I am one of those
Like,
DMs.
we discussed changing patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jester and I have talked about, like, what if Hollow can't stand Reineke anymore and wants a different sugar daddy, sugar mommy, sugar than be patron? Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if it requires, are you okay swapping subclasses if it happens, depending on like what patron comes to her.
Yeah.
Comes this little raccoon. And Jester was like, yeah, got it, boss. And I'm like, okay, we'll see how the story plays.
Yeah,
There's
whoever
potentiality that we won't have a healer in the game anymore. That's okay.
looks at this fucked up little guy. Whoever looks at this fucked up little guy goes, "Hey, buddy, are you tired of that fox harassing you? Come here. I can help you out, definitely.
One other thing that I really love, just as a DM that I saw it on the internet. It was on Reddit or somewhere, and someone asked, "Hey, is it possible to multi-class into the same class? And just multi-class into multiple subclasses?" And I was like, that should be a thing. There should be a mechanic for that, because I love that idea. Like a Battle Master Cavalier Fighter. Because that just makes sense. Or a Totem Warrior Berserker Barbarian.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I would pet Raniki if he looked like that.
So last time I found this, it is a Irish mythological creature called a Ein. So it is a fox with griffin wings and the ferocity of a lion, basically.
I love that.
In a fox's body.
That's so cute. I like it a lot, yeah.
But it's also like the grim idea of like Reineke being a lawful evil extra spirit and is like temporarily borrowing power from Madagot, the extra cat, and Belena bird, like the freedom bird, to be this form. Sometimes. It's a little fucked up, but your guy's fucked up. You picked a fucked up patron. Are you allowed me to pitch you a fucked up patron? And you would yes.
In universe, it's like I kept offering this patron stuff, and they just went, "Hey, Kips, come here." But Abby was like, "Here, do you want this fucked up little guy?" And I went, "Absolutely, please come right in."
I love that. So as wonderful
He's
as
based
this,
off of Pinocchio.
Yeah, as wonderful as this session of fucking lore dumping has been, because I've loved it. I do need to eat before I run another D&D game tonight. So I will have to be going. We should do this more often. Like, this should become a thing that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I told you I picked a Celeste also the day, and like the podcast idea that you came up with, and she's also absolutely down. It's just trying to get everyone together, or we just cycle through the cast of just like, let's talk about D&D and our worlds and our blorbos, and if anyone has questions, this is the time to ask them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a fucking fantastic idea. I'm typically available as long as I'm not running a game, and even if I am running a game, I will do this beforehand. So
I'm typically available in evenings.
Yeah.
I'm available whenever I am
Usually
not.
when we run all our deities.
I'm available when I'm usually not plain tuckered out by being tired from work.
God, what a mood.
But yeah, so this has been absolutely fucking fantastic.
We
I'm
all
gonna
say
go
let's
make
shake hands.
Right.
Shake hands. Good game.
Yep. Jess, I will see you in about an hour.
Oh yeah.
For ducks.
Listen, as soon as I can get all my characters into town, I think all of them are just gonna have a nice little rest for a little bit, aside from Nakawe's Jabberwocky hunt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think probably the only one that you've got that's probably gonna be on consistent quests for a while is
Ranu.
Yeah, Ranu. Because that quest, it even says on the quest, you're gonna be gone for 12 to 13 sessions. So
plus, Midas has to run a Monster Hunters Guild with friends.
Yeah, exactly. So Midas needs to go back.
It's okay.
Mhm.
Don't worry. Alula is taking care of the guild responsibly. And
Oh, something I meant to tell you.
otherwise, Curio is probably gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, I need help slaying a beast.
Oh yeah, I meant to tell you.
You're tough and strong. Let's go."
Oh yeah, I meant to tell you. Oh, how much was the allotment of money we get for the guild specifically?
You get $6,000, 6,000 gold pieces a month.
So we get 6K a month for the guild, and I meant to tell you that at some point. I just completely forgot to tell you.
It just comes
Alula
into
shakes
the
in
coffers.
her boots.
No, Lula. I hold Alula in my hands. It's not. It's for the guild.
Alula just shakes.
It's for the guild.
Of course.
As a matter of fact, likely Alula
won't
was sitting
miss-
there, looking at an empty safe, and very suddenly it was not empty anymore, because it doesn't just it isn't
'cause-
delivered to you. It is magically put there.
Oh.
Magically, the safe
'cause
just started
imagine, like-
filling with gold.
Yeah, like Midas is like gearhead and does all like the conversations and the fighting, but Alula's the person in the background who's doing all the paperwork and making sure everything is going great.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing she's not allowed to touch is money, which I guess goes to Dietrich's.
Yeah,
Or Midas when he
paying.
comes back.
It goes to
Yeah.
paying your members, because you do have several members of the guild now.
So that I feel like that 6K.
Yeah.
If we don't need to keep track of money, is just spent on making sure the guild's running, the guild members are happy, and if they have any concerns, they can talk to Midas. And I jokingly say they can fight Midas about it. You know.
I mean, there's a Draken in your guild that would absolutely fight Midas.
Midas would fight anybody.
Yeah, I know.
Anyone, anytime.
Gustav is very upset that he got
That's
his
why-
ass kicked.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
This is why Curio's gonna come visit you and be like, "Hey, you're strong and tough. I can go fight a dog. Let's go."
Dog fight. Let's go.
A giant three-headed ice dog.
I think Curio's gonna be like, "So you want to kill a dog that with 3 heads?" And then it's like ... A Cerberus, you idiot! Come on, let's go.
I mean, if it's a threat, then yeah, go take care of it. Oof.
Oh, it's a threat.
It's a threat.
Oh, it's a
Smiles.
threat.
You're the Monster Hunter Guild. This is what you're supposed to do. Kill monsters. Come on, big boy, let's go. Come on.
I love it's like looks at Midas. Come on, let's go.
I love that too. So
Curio is 4'11". She's so tiny.
But yeah, this is really great. We should do this more often.
we 100% should. All right, I'm gonna hop off and I'm gonna go eat. You folks have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna put us on the.
I eat too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.